All right, good evening to you. Gabe DeArmond here, live on the Postgame drink. Just got done with Eli Drinkwitz's press conference down in Columbia, South Carolina. Missouri, a 17-10 winner tonight over the Gamecocks. Larry Roundtree, a touchdown. Missouri struggled on offense. Defense did enough, though. Nick Bolton led the way, 14 tackles. Had some technical issues earlier today, so coming at you with a little bit different setup tonight, but it worked all through the game. We expect it to work here tonight, so we're going to do what we always do on this show. I'm going to give you a couple initial thoughts, then we're going to play Eli Drinkwitz's post-game press conference for you. Just finished, ran about 15 minutes. We're going to play that, then we're going to open it up to your comments, calls, questions, whatever you have. But look, Missouri 3-3, third place in the SEC East, staring at a 5 or 6 win season for year one of Eli Drinkwitz. They just went on the road. He just said they had 52 players available, scholarship players. They took 56. They knew 4 of them couldn't play. They were losing guys during the game. They got guys out with COVID. They had one quarterback, all kinds of problems. They won a football game. I know it wasn't as pretty as you wanted it to be. I know it wasn't as lopsided as you wanted it to be. But they won a football game, and they're sitting 3-3 in the SEC, and there's a lot of teams that would like to be there. Overall, I think it's hard to argue, really, with anything Missouri's done. This is a very limited team, and he's finding ways to win. That's not a game Missouri wins last year. It's maybe not a game Missouri wins the last 5 years, and they won it tonight. I thought he coached the team he had, not the team he wanted to have. And they found a way to win the football game. So, like I said, what I want to do first here every week is give you guys a chance to hear from Eli Drinkwitz. This is just minutes ago. Mitchell Fordy's actually still on the Zoom call talking to Nick Bolton, Larry Roundtree. He's going to write up tons of stuff for you on Power Mizzou while I'm here taking your calls and talking to you. But this is Eli Drinkwitz after the 17-10 win at South Carolina.
I can't be any more proud of our football team, the fight they displayed, the toughness they showed, to have 52 scholarship players available and play the game. I know we traveled 56, but we knew Jeff Coat was going to be out. We knew that Larry and Kobe were going to be out, and to still find a way to win. Defense played lights out. We knew Coach Walters was going to be here. Tip of our hat to our defensive staff, especially Coach Gibbs, just called an excellent game. Just really an awesome performance all the way around. Obviously, we didn't do what we needed to do offensively in the second half to put the game away, but we found a way to win, and that's what you have to do. Special teams did a great job flipping the field, and so, hey, we're going home 3-3, and really proud of our team right now.
We'll start with a question from Peter Baugh from The Athletic. Peter, go ahead.
He wants
No, what I guess does it say about your defense that without Walters and with a lot of, I guess, the numbers both on the defensive line and in the secondary, that you guys were able to kind of really contain South Carolina's offense that had success last week?
Yeah, it's hats off to them for just being focused and doing their jobs and executing and stepping up to the challenge.
Next one comes from Bennett Durando from the St. Louis Post. Bennett.
Eli, I know in your halftime interview with the SEC Network, you said you guys need to force a turnover to win. What was sort of your interaction with Devin after the game, and what did you tell him about that interception?
Great job. Last time I saw Devin, he was running around the turnover robe. Tremendous job. Coach Smith does drop school for the linebackers every Wednesday after practice, and showed up right there. Did an excellent job. Coach Gibbs said on that last drive, I got on their headset and said, "Sorry, Coach," and he said, "Don't worry about it. We're going to get a turnover right here," and he did.
Jack Sobel from the Maneater. Jack.
Coach, you guys had your first 2.5 sacks by defensive backs this season. Especially with Trajan, your leading sack guy, out. Was that part of the game plan to bring those secondary guys on blitzes today?
Yeah. Yep. Thought we would incorporate some different ways to get pressure on the quarterback, and we did.
Mitchell Fordy from Power Mizzou. Mitch.
Eli, how much does the defense and how they're kind of playing factor into your decisions to call plays and go for it versus punt on fourth down on South Carolina's side of the field, especially in the second half?
It gives you a lot of confidence knowing that they're able to put things away. I tried to tried to end the game on that little wheel route at the end. And I had confidence that, if we didn't get it, we were going to be able to punt them deep and the defense was going to hold them. But so, yep.
Kyle Pennell from the Maneater. Kyle.
Yeah, Coach, you guys haven't played in a few weeks. And how do you feel like your team dealt with that rest and just finally getting to play for the first time since Halloween?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could tell offensive line wise we're not where we need to be, and I think we're still just working on, we gotta create some holes, and they did a good job with our counter scheme tonight, and but for the most part, our ball handling was pretty clean, and our tackling was pretty good, except when they slipped in that other quarterback, Doty I thought did a nice job of eluding some tackles, but for the most part, I mean, we did what we needed to do.
Gabe DeArmond, Power Mizzou. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, Eli, when you say confidence allows you to punt, I imagine that grows when you've got a guy that stuck him, I think, at the 12-yard line the first time and then at the 1. Just how important in a game like that was what Grant did for you late?
I mean, that's why you're recruiting. That's why you get him here and you beg him to come back for next year too, because he's got a lot of leadership. He's been in these games a long time, and he does a great job with his timing and holding the ball, and I mean, there's just no substitute for experience right there.
Dave Matter from the Post. Dave, go ahead.
Eli, you talked a lot this year about both sides kind of complementing each other. I mean, how did that come to fruition tonight? I mean, when your offense is kind of sputtering and the defense makes some plays, I mean, what's that say about how this team is kind of coming together?
Yeah, I think they're not blaming each other. They're working and encouraging each other. I think showed up after the turnover in the first half. Our defense went out there, went 3 and out, forced a TFL. We called the timeout, and then we were able to get the ball back and drive down for a field goal right before half. So obviously that was big for us and just proves complimentary football.
Eric Blum from the Tribune.
Eli, how much did you expect to see of Luke Doty tonight, and what changed when he took over for Colin Hill?
I don't know that we were expecting or not expecting him to come in. Obviously, they went a lot more to their spread attack and a little bit more quarterback run instead of their 21 personnel toss game to 20.
Andrew Kaufman.
Hey, Coach, just to be 3-3 with all the obstacles that you guys have faced and being a first-year head coach, just what do you think of that in a conference-only schedule to be 3-3?
Well, I've got a couple of screenshots of people that predicted us to only win 2 games, so they can have those screenshots back. And I think that for me is the biggest thing is just for our team having a chip on their shoulder, people counting us out before we even got into the fight, and there's no quit in us. We have 52 scholarship players, man. I mean, that's a 1AA roster right now, and our guys are fighting and giving everything you got. Nick Bolton's playing every snap. Our D-line's giving us everything out. We started 2 true freshmen at corner tonight, and to be where we're at, it's a tribute to our players, it's a tribute to our seniors, and a tribute to our staff for just fighting.
So, Uchi.
Eli, just wondering what did you see out of that second half from your offense? What was maybe kind of the cause of some of those struggles?
Couldn't run the ball. I mean, quite honestly, we couldn't run the ball, and we weren't very effective on third down because our pass rush, their pass rush was pressuring the quarterback. So we'll have to go back and look at it and figure out where we got to adjust.
Jack Sobel.
Coach, you touched on this a bit, but when did you know that Coach Gibbs would be calling plays this week, and what specifically do you think he did well tonight?
I think Ryan gets out of quarantine Monday, so I've known about 13 days. We've planned on him. We had the plan for next week too. Surprised none of y'all knew, but he did a great job of just staying calm, calling the defense, being able to handle run adjustments, pass adjustments, subbing in personnel, matching when they were in 21, matching when they were in 10. I thought he dialed up some great pressures, mixed up zone and man. I mean, crud, he held them to 10 points. He did everything good.
Pete Acabelli.
Eli, how close did this game come to not being played because of your roster numbers, and how hard did you guys work to make sure that you could get it played?
I mean, we wanted to play no matter what, as long as we didn't have something from a medical standpoint that we would have considered it to be an outbreak. We were going to play. Just felt like our guys have been working way too hard to not play a game. And so I think we only flew 65 guys down here. They give you 70, but we only brought 65. And so we're running low, but we felt like it was important to give our guys an opportunity to play.
Peter Baugh.
Yeah, Eli, Larry finally passed the record for most yards by a running back. Just overall, having him, a stable guy like him coming in as a new coach, what has he meant to you and your team?
Well, I mean, he's a captain, so the first thing he means is that it means he's got the respect of his teammates. And, core value for us is build trust and respect, and felt like we've worked really hard to just build trust with. Can somebody mute their?
Hey guys, we've got somebody on there.
I think it's Pete.
Yeah.
All right. And so, he has a lot of trust and respect, and he's just an outstanding person. He's got great work ethic, and, to have complimentary guys like Larry Roundtree and Nick Bolton on the offense and defensive side, it's for me in this job, it makes all the difference. Makes all the difference. Those two guys hold this team together. They make sure we play hard. They make sure we practice hard. They have the respect of every coach I talk to in this conference. Every time I shake somebody's hands at midfield, they all want to know if those two guys have COVID, because if they're playing, they know they're in for a dogfight all day. And so really proud of both of them.
Bill Pollock, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, just talk about the challenge of reacting on the fly to when a team changes their offensive scheme, and then just how impressive that is for your defensive players to step up and counter that.
Yeah, that's why you have base rules, and that's why you have experienced defensive players and experienced play callers. We kind of figured, what we were going to do. I thought Coach Haley made a great adjustment to cage the quarterback and not letting him get out of the pocket. And we did a nice job.
Max Baker.
Yeah, what was the biggest change, I guess, in your defensive game plan after Shai got hurt, I guess 5-6 plays into the game?
Nothing.
Dave Matter. Dave Matter.
Yeah, was Jeffcoat, was that a game time decision? Was he close to being able cleared or not?
He was ruled out last night. We were about 98% sure he was going to be out, but then last night he was definitely ruled out. So
Jack Sobel, go ahead.
Coach, I'm wondering, based on your initial impressions tonight, what are some things that you want to see Connor improve on for next week?
I have no idea. I hadn't watched the tape, but as soon as I do, I'll be critical. I know right before half, he can't throw the swing route when there's 13 seconds left. He's got to wait, and had both slicers open for a touchdown. So, I know that one right off the top of my head, but other than that, I don't know. Oh, yeah, you can't throw an interception in the red zone, underthrow the ball. Ball's on the 23-yard line. You threw it to the 2. That's a pretty terrible throw. So we got those two things are correct.
All right, we'll let Coach go with that one. We got.
All right, so there you guys go. Eli Drinkwitz from Columbia, South Carolina. Again, that ended maybe 20 minutes ago. We got right on the air, and then wanted to bring that to you guys. And now we want to take your questions. We want to talk to you. We want to break down this game. I'll give my thoughts, but I'm more interested in what you guys want to know and what you want to talk about. So we've got some questions here in the comments, and I'm certainly going to put those on the screen, and I'll go through those. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take my name off here, because hopefully you know who I am, and I'm going to put up our phone number and have you guys call in. There's the number. That rings our Skype line. I can add you in as soon as you call, and we'll go through whatever you guys want to talk about this game. So if I'm in the middle of an answer, whatever, I'll jump on the line when it rings. You're going to have a little patience with us, because sometimes we get 5-6 calls built up at once. So sometimes I may answer you and tell you to hang on. And we've already got our first call, so we're going to go to the phone line, doing it a little bit different. So I want to make sure the audio works, but this is the 417 area code. Can you hear me, man? 417, who am I talking to?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Hey, Gabe, this is Tucker from Joplin, Missouri.
Hey, Tucker, how you doing, man? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Good. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm hanging in, man. Had some technical difficulties early on, then had a second half that was worth sleeping through. But we're powering through.
Good. Hey, just want your take on the second half, and I know a lot of people are probably going to ask this offensively.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out, but I felt like that Drink put a little too much pressure on the defense, and I get that South Carolina wasn't great offensively, and that the defense was playing well, but I just felt like they got a little too conservative on offense and didn't take enough chances, and I feel like I don't know. I know the O-line was banged up, but I just felt like that they didn't press enough offensively. They put too much on the defense, and it worked out tonight. But I just think going forward, they've got to keep pressing things offensively. If nothing else, I mean, this year you want to win games, but you also got to kind of look to the future with Bays and kind of some of the young receivers on offense to just be more aggressive. I thought Drink would be more aggressive.
I think it had a lot to do with the opponent tonight. I think they kind of knew 17 points was probably going to win the game, and one more score, like we said at halftime, score once, you're going to win the game. One more score would have iced that game. Now, Missouri didn't get the score, but I think, they punted twice from inside the South Carolina 40. They don't do that against LSU, right? They're going for it on 4th and 4 against LSU. But against South Carolina, he's looking at, this guy hasn't completed a pass more than 10 yards downfield. They've got 120 yards all night. Now they have to go 95 on one drive. I'm better off just putting my defense out there. And we also got to realize how limited Missouri's offense is, right? The offensive line is all beat up. Connor Bazelak, I didn't think was very good tonight. He was very inaccurate. They weren't running the ball. Larry Roundtree wasn't finding holes. I thought defense and special teams was the way to win this game. I said at the end of the game broadcast, or maybe at the beginning of the show, I thought Drinkwitz coached the team he had, not the team he wants to have. So I understand frustration and a little bit of concern about it because it should have been a bigger margin. But I think that was what the game dictated tonight.
And I get that. It's just that, the opposite there, the flip side of that is that the defense, if you looked on that last drive, they were gassed. And yes, they got the pick. Nicholson got the pick, and that's great. But I was telling the buddies I was watching the game with, we're going to have to get a turnover to win this. And they got it, but was, Nick Bolton in the front was just gassed. It was just it was a thin line to me, and I thought that when they had that early in the third quarter, the pressure was not on the offense. In the fourth quarter, it was, and I thought when the pressure was not on the offense, that was the time to strike and put the game out of reach. That's all.
Yeah, no, and I do understand that, certainly that point of view. I totally get it. Frustrating second half to watch, but in the end, they're a limited team and they got the win, and I think you're happy with it and understand there are things to improve on, right? I think that's where we're all at.
Yep.
All right, well, Tucker, appreciate the call, man. I got a couple other people on hold here, so we're going to let you go. All right, thanks, Tucker.
Thanks, Gabe. See you, bye.
All right, so I hope I have a couple other people on hold. I may have accidentally hung up. It may not have gotten merged in right. I don't know. If you tried to call and it didn't work out, please call back. We'll get you in. We're going to be here as long as you guys want to be here. Real quick, while we got a break, I want to say that this is the Boulevard Postgame Drink. It's sponsored by Boulevard Brewing Company. This week, we are going with Space Camper Cosmic IPA. And I'm going to go to the phone line, and we'll get back to the Space Camper. All right, I got the 314 area code. What's going on? 314, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, who am I talking to? What's going on?
Thanks for signing up for CatFax.
And CatFax is back. All right, so CatFax, thanks for calling in. 1 week, I'm just going to let that go, but it's not going to be now. All right, 602 area code. Who am I talking with?
Hey, Gabe, this is Mike. Hey, I was just wondering, what do you think, being off for 3 weeks, basically, what sort of impact do you think that had on the offense running smoothly, at least in the second half? Seems like we kind of didn't do a whole lot. So what do you think being off for 3 weeks, and of course having some guys out too, but being off for 3 weeks, what do you think?
I think that's definitely something that we kind of ignore. And look, I'm as guilty of this as everybody. Okay, and Mike, appreciate the call in 901 area code. I got you on hold. I'm going to finish answering Mike's question, and I'll get right to you, so please hang with me. But that's something we forget about. We get into the game, and we just want it to go perfectly, and we treat it like any other season, right? Well, it's not like any other season. They haven't played in 21 days, and I think that affects offense more than it affects defense. I don't think Connor Bazelak was perfect tonight. He's been working with different receivers every week. The running backs have been running behind different offensive linemen every week. They had an offensive guard playing tight end, a third stringer at left guard. I think all those things factor in. And I think they're things that we forget about in the 60 minutes or in the 3 hours we're watching a game, right? We just, well, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? They're better than this. They're dominating the game. Why isn't this working? Those are the things we forget about that we kind of can think about after the game and say, yeah, that makes a little more sense. So, Mike, appreciate the call. Now, 901 area code on the line. Who am I talking to?
What is up, my man?
Hey, how you doing? What's going on, Jonah?
This win is for the 5-7-3. For my house, for Addison's, for Harpo's, for B&B Bagel, and
Whoa, what happened there? Dude, 901.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, no, I want to apologize. The last caller, I think, got cut off. I'm not sure if it was on our end or their end, but now we're jumping to 704 area code. Who am I talking to?
this is Joe in Charlotte. How you doing, man?
What's up, Joe? How are you, man? What's going on?
Yeah, question about moving forward. You commented about the team of 52, 53, whatever the number was this evening. What's the ideas moving forward? What's going to be happening with the team moving to the next game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't know for sure because we don't know when all these guys went into contract tracing, when they are eligible to come out. I mean, Drinkwitz has been fairly open and transparent with that, but we can only really know what he chooses to share on that front. Like, I flat out asked about Ryan Walters middle of last week before the Georgia game because I had heard that this was a possibility, and they basically just kind of wouldn't confirm it, kept it quiet, and so we can't. There's no way to say anything publicly if they're not going to say, yeah, you're right, so we only can know on this particular issue what they're going to share. So we don't know when all those guys come out. You would think the numbers would go up, but now, look, they're going to test again Sunday and Tuesday, and maybe new guys get caught in. So the number's always going to be fluctuating. But I think what we learned about the SEC and about Missouri this week is they want to play these games, and they're going to find ways to play these games. I mean, Missouri was very, very close to not being able to play by the guidelines, but it was never really in their heads that they weren't going to play. They were going to find a way to play those games. Now, there are things, right? If you have no quarterbacks, you can't play. Or if you've got 16 guys in your starting lineup that have it, you can't play. So I'm not going to say they're going to play at all costs, but I think these teams are showing they want to get this season in, and I think they're going to do everything they can do to make that happen going forward.
Well, they're great to watch. Thanks, Dave, for taking my call.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's go to the 314 area code. Are you there? We seem to be having an issue merging calls right now, guys, and I don't know exactly why that is. But if you've tried to call in and you haven't been able to get in, or if you thought you got in and then didn't get in, please call back. I'll get to you. It seems to the way it's worked in the last couple weeks, and God knows it's been a while since we did this show, but when we did it, it's not worked exactly that same way. I'm having trouble kind of adding multiple callers at once, but I'm going to do my best. So I want to get all the calls in. Want to get all your guys' thoughts, everything you want to say about the game. So if you've had trouble, hey, call back, and I'll tell you what, I'll go further. If you've tried to get in and you've gotten cut off or something has happened, you just call when you tell me that. When you call, you just say, hey, man, I just tried to call, got cut off. You tell me that. You email me at powermizzou@gmail.com. I'll give you a couple free months on the site because I do appreciate you guys sticking up late with us. It's almost 11 o'clock here, probably almost midnight where some of you guys are calling from. Last caller was from Charlotte. So appreciate you hanging in with us and definitely want to make it worth your time. So please call back. Let me know if you've tried to get in and have had some some problems with that, and we'll hook you up. Once again, this is the Boulevard post-game drink. I was getting there before the last call. So I had this plan to like have a different Boulevard every week, opponent specific and all that. Or Boulevard just can't get the sponsorship tag in. 314 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hey, this is Papa H.
What's up, Papa? How you doing, man? What's going on?
Doing all right. I have a very simple question for you, and I'll hang up right after because I know you got a lot of calls on the line. My question is, 6 games into the season, who would you compare Drink to so far as a head coach? I've heard a lot of Spurrier comparisons, heard a lot of Dan Mullen. Who would you give your head coach comparison to 6 games into the season?
Whew, man, that's tough. And I appreciate the call. Because it's 2 different questions. Like the personality, I can see the Spurrier comparisons. Just kind of the confidence and the swagger and the no hesitation to say some crazy stuff and all that. I get that. Now, I'm not going to compare Eli Drinkwitz after 6 games to a guy that won 2 national titles and did what Steve Spurrier did, because we're getting a little out of control there. You know, Dan Mullen, look, I don't know, man. I learned a lot about Dan Mullen in the last 3 weeks I didn't love. It's just such a small sample size, right? 6 games here in 1 season at App State. I mean, I'm trying to think of a guy who like made that leap and was pretty successful in year 1. I don't know, like Justin Fuente from Memphis, and it started out well at Virginia Tech. That's tailed off a little bit. I'm not sure. I know this is a terrible answer, but I've seen so little of Eli Drinkwitz that I don't. I mean, he was such a quick riser, right? With 1 year at App State, and here he is in the SEC and actually overachieving in year 1. I think it's very impressive what he's done, but I just don't know somebody who jumps to mind right away that I can think of off the top of my head. But the personality thing, I definitely see some Spurrier, no doubt.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, keep it up.
I'll think about that, man.
After game content.
Yeah, appreciate it, and maybe resubmit that in the mailbag. Maybe I'll have a little better answer for you when I have a little more time to think about it, because it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So appreciate the call, man.
I'll throw that in there for next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, so we got the line clear now. If anybody wants to call in, please feel free. Again, Boulevard post-game drink. The drink tonight to start is Space Camper. I had this plan to like have an opponent-specific beer every week. It's all gone to hell, man. This whole season's gone to hell. Like, I'm drinking what's in my house. I've got 2 cases of Boulevard downstairs. I'm not picking out different ones for every opponent. I got a lot of beer to drink, so I'm going to drink it. We're starting with Space Camper. It's now in the Yeti cooler to stay cold. I've got a spare over here. We'll break that out in a few minutes. It's the greatest thing Boulevard has ever made, so we'll get to that. But also want to get to your guys' questions. And again, if you want to call in, if you want to ask a question that way, please do. 573-234-4935. There's the number, and we're going to get to you. I promise. Sometimes got to do a little jumping back and forth. And we've got an unknown person. This is dangerous. So I'm answering a call here from an unknown person. Who am I talking to? Caller, can you hear me? It appears not. Okay, now I've got an 816 area code. Who am I talking to? 816, are you there?
Hey now.
Hey now, who am I talking to?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you thought Baba Booey really hit him with the hind tonight. I did. I thought so. What do you think?
Okay, appreciate that, man. Yeah. All right, so we've reached that portion. I've got another unknown caller here. Again, this could be dangerous. Who am I talking to? Can you hear me? All right, this is what you get when you put the phone number on Twitter, I think. You get some people having fun, but that's okay, man. Feel free. I mean, there's a reason I'm off Twitter, but, appreciate the calls. But we'll answer some actual questions here. Chad Brenton wants to know the offense in the second half. Is it South Carolina playing well or us playing poorly? Going to jump back to the phone line, 573 area code. Who's on the phone?
This is Davin.
What's up, Davin? How you doing, man?
Good. So I've been thinking about this, and I don't think I've seen it answered. The Tigers are down, 5 scholarships from the probation
The sanction.
thing?
They're down 4. Yeah, they can have 81 this year. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then there's however many, and that's all in contact rate. Or there's how many have opted out now? I've lost track. 6?
Oh, they've had a ton of guys opt out. I want to say 8, and I want to say I've got a 573 and a 303 on hold right now. I just want you guys to hang with us while we're talking, and we'll get to you. But yeah, they've had 8 to 10 guys opt out. They've had a few more transfer. They're down to 60 total scholarships.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hang on,
I
man.
was wondering, how do you compare Basilac's performance home versus away?
Okay, I'm not sure what we're doing there, but we're getting all kinds of good calls tonight, guys. We're having fun on the show. All right, I got an 847 call. I know this is Chicago. Who am I talking to?
What's up, Gabe? It's Andrew. How we doing?
Andrew, how you doing, man? At this point in the show, I'm a little bit gun shy if I'm going to be talking to a real person or a bot or the cat facts person or a person just saying random things. So I appreciate you appearing to be a real human being.
Of course, you're getting trolled a little bit, so I figured I'll call.
That's all right, man. I'm good with it.
Actual real question.
Yeah, what's happening?
So when I watch Nick Bolton, he's clearly a Sundays guy, clearly NFL.
Yep.
Just thinking down the road, Mizzou's going to be invited to a bowl game because of the weird bowl rules this year. Do you think Bolton's potentially a guy that could say, I'm sitting out the bowl game?
I think that potential's always there. I'll be honest. I would if I were him. I don't think I'd play, but Nick Bolton is a guy that really seems to have bought in, and he's a team guy. I mean, he could have sat out this season, honestly, if he wanted to. So I don't want to put something on him that he doesn't want to do. He's definitely a guy that would have that option, but I don't, I can't put myself in Nick Bolton's head and tell you what he'll do. But I think we definitely all need to prepare for this as his last year in college.
Yeah. Do you think Drinkwitz is the type of coach that would give the player that option, or do you think he's the kind of coach that would want all of his players to play for a better chance to win?
Well, I think every coach wants them all to play, right? But there's nothing you can really do. If you got Nick Bolton, who by most accounts right now is a first-round NFL draft pick, and he comes to you and says, "Coach, man, I don't want to risk my health for the Gator Bowl against Maryland or whatever." I mean, what are you going to do? Because what is better for your program than Nick Bolton playing and winning that Gator Bowl is Nick Bolton going and being a successful professional football player and saying really good things about the University of Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz, right? It's a long play. So yeah, you'd want him to play, but you can't force him to play. And Andrew, I appreciate the call. I'm getting a couple more. I'm going to try to answer those. So we're going to see how this goes.
Absolutely. Keep up the great work. Love watching every week.
All right. Thanks a lot, Andrew. I got 913 on the line. Who am I talking to?
Hey, this is Matt in Phoenix. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. Oh, hey, good, man. Hey, thanks for doing the show. 2 questions for you. First of all, between COVID and injuries, how do you see the offensive line shaping up the rest of the season? And 2, how good would Nick Bolton look in the Chiefs uniform next season, man? I'll listen off air. Thanks, man.
All right, appreciate it, and I'm going to answer those as soon as I get. I've also got an 816 call on the line, so 816. Who am I talking to, and what do you got for me? 816 area code. Can you hear me? One more try. 816. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. What's going on? Who am I talking to?
Gary.
What's up, Gary? What's on your mind, man?
What's up? What was that?
What's on your mind?
You know, I really like the Mizzou uniforms. I love the colors to them. They're very unique, and they're a very good team.
Okay. Good thoughts, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right. So back to Kurt's questions about the offensive line. Look, it's all beat up, man. It's not anywhere near where they want it. They're gonna have to add, more guys. Clearly, recruiting right now hasn't gone great. They're gonna have to hit the transfer portal, I think. They're gonna have to find ways to replenish this. Larry Borum and Xavier Delgado getting back will help. I was pretty impressed with Luke Griffin tonight. I didn't hear his name, so I think that's good. Now, look, the same thing happened in Dylan Spencer's first start, and then the second start didn't go so well. So that can always change. All right, 760 area code. Who's on the phone?
Clearly, recruiting right now hasn't gone great. They're going to have to hit the transfer portal.
760, you get. I'm hearing an echo because can you turn down your computer?
Larry Borum and Xavier Delgado getting back will help. I was pretty impressed with Luke Griffin.
All right, 760, you're going to have to call me back because all I'm doing is listening to myself there. Basically, I need your volume down before you call me. Davin, we had a couple prank calls, I think, kick you off the air. What's up, man?
Yeah. The scholarship thing, it just got me thinking, I was going to ask about how many players can they actually take in the class? Is 25 the top that you can actually take per year? Isn't that right? I saw your numbers.
Yeah.
Like you were trying to figure out where they could be, and we just got so many people out.
Right. There's kind of 25 is the most you can take, but there are ways around it, and it has to do with how many people. And Davin, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to add somebody to the call. So if that boots you off, I promise I'm answering it. I hope you're listening, and I hope you stay on. We'll see how it goes. There's some weird things happening tonight, but I'm adding 760 to the call. I need you to hang on. I'm answering Davin's question right now. Basically, you can add 25. Now, you can add more if you have guys who enrolled early that you counted back toward a different recruiting class. Now, the problem with us being able to figure that out is we don't know exactly how that's gone. We don't know which early enrollees were counted back toward last year, which ones weren't, and which guys maybe the year before were counted back. So we don't know exactly where those numbers land. There's really no way for us to figure that out other than, somebody just telling us, which they generally don't. But we are guessing somewhere between 25 and 28 guys in this class is what they can add. And we don't know the exact number, but it's in that neighborhood. And it probably still won't get them back to 85.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I know that they're down quite a few, and we need some offensive linemen and some wide receivers.
Some receivers. Yeah, it's going to be
seems like we're missing on a lot of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2 or 3 year process to get back there, but appreciate it, Davin. Yeah. Thanks, man. You have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Keep it up.
760 area code. Are you on with me? Who am I talking to?
Stuart,
what's going on, man? How are you?
I didn't catch any statistics. Did Roundtree break? Does he now hold the record?
Yes, he has Roundtree has the most rushing yards for a running back in Missouri history now. He passed Zach Abram tonight.
Cool. He's a workmanlike dude.
He's what?
He's a workmanlike dude.
He is. He's a fun player to watch. A guy that I think probably doesn't get as much credit as he deserves. But on this team.
Carry on. Thanks. Carry on.
All right. Appreciate it, Stuart. Thanks, man. 816, I got you on the line. Who am I talking to?
Hello.
What's up, Joe? How you doing, man?
I'm good, Gabriel. How are you?
Not bad. So what's on your mind?
What is going to happen to our secondary next year?
Next year,
we have some ballers back there.
Yeah, Tyree Gillespie's and Josh Bledsoe are almost certainly gone. I think Jarvis Ware has a decent chance to be gone. I'm not sure. He may come back, but I think he has he might have a chance to go pro. But they've got Ennis Rakestraw, who I think they definitely like, and I think we see why. Martez Manuel has played very well. They have Stacy Brown, who wasn't at the game tonight, but who a lot of people think pretty highly of. Ish Burdine has played some this year, and I think they like him. Jelani Williams is in the fold, so there's definitely going to be new guys, but I think they have bodies there that they feel pretty decent about.
Manuel, first time I saw him pop on film tonight.
Yeah.
Has he always been this good?
He's better quicker than I thought he was going to be. I mean, he was athletic coming out of Rockbridge, but I didn't think he'd be this good a player this early. I think he could probably tone down some of the chirping after plays. But he made a lot of plays tonight, and he definitely, you couldn't watch that game and not notice him.
I'll tell you what, last question.
Okay.
Devin Nicholson, Nick Bolton. Who's taller?
I would assume Devin Nicholson is. I don't know that for a fact, but I would assume so.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, man.
All right, have a good one, Joe. Thanks for calling, man. All right, I got a 573 number on the line. Are you still there with me?
Yes, sir, Gabe.
Who am I talking with?
This is Justin. Hail Satan, Gabe. Hail Satan.
Okay.
I wondered what you meant by, you were talking about we need to recruit more offensive linemen. I mean, we still have that kid who called a couple of weeks
Connor
ago.
Tollison, right.
We have that Drake Hazemeyer. We've got, I saw Jack Buford on the bench. He's still there. I thought he had left. We also have that other bit, Mike Ruth. I mean, there's guys there. I mean, they're not necessarily playing, and they're really young. I mean, I think we're going to keep getting those guys. We always do. Also, let me just comment. I thought Manuel was great tonight, and Devin Nicholson, I believe, is listed at about 6'3", and I think Bolton's about 6 foot. So talk to you later, Gabe.
There you go. Appreciate it, and I'm definitely going to get to the talk about the offensive line here in just a second. As soon as I get this 816 call on the line, who am I talking to? 816,
Hello?
you there?
I thought Manuel was great tonight.
Yeah, 816 area code. Hey, yeah, how you doing, man? This is Gabe. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Gabe. This is John from Parkville. I really enjoy these post-game sessions that you put together.
Appreciate it.
I was wondering.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Who are they going to replace next year for Nick Bolton? It seems like that's going to be a big hole to fill.
Yeah. Look, you don't just replace Nick Bolton, right? That's like the whole defense got to get better. I mean, that's tough, man. I don't know. I mean, offhand, I don't know. I assume Devin Nicholson kind of takes that role and somebody slides into his spot. But yeah, that's a huge loss, assuming Nick Bolton goes pro. I mean, that guy he does everything on defense. You know what they're going to have to do next year to replace him? They're going to have to score more points. They're going to have to be better on offense because they're not going to be as good on defense.
Okay, that's a very good point.
That's the way I'd look at it. Yeah. So, well,
Okay.
John, I appreciate you calling, man. Anything else?
No. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right. Now, I want to get back to the previous question about the offensive line. Yeah, they have bodies, right? But, I mean, Jack Buford's not playing. Mike Ruth's not playing much. Drake Heismeyer, true freshman, who moved over to the defensive line for this game, so I'm not writing him off by any means. But when I say they need to recruit more, I mean in the future classes. Connor Tollison's the only offensive lineman they've got signed for this year or committed for this year. They're going to need to add some more. Need a couple more this year. And then probably a couple more next year. I just looked down and saw Michigan beat Rutgers in triple overtime. How's things going in Ann Arbor, Jim? All right, back to the phone lines. We still haven't gotten to the comments because we've had a steady stream of phone calls, and I appreciate that. Back to the 816 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hi, this is Robert.
What's up, Robert? How you doing, man? What's on your mind?
I have a question. Can you compare Connor's first year to Drew Locke's?
Yeah, I think Connor has been better so far than Drew was as a true freshman. Drew kind of got thrown in there.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Drew got thrown in there when he wasn't ready, and he admitted many times he wasn't ready. He wasn't supposed to play that year. The difference is Connor Bazelak, well, first of all, this year he's a redshirt freshman, not a true freshman, so that's a little bit different, right? But also, Connor Bazelak came in expecting to compete for the starting quarterback job this year. Drew Lock really that year expected to back up Matty Mock and be able to adjust. Well, then Matty got kicked off the team, and Drew got thrown in. He had one really good game against South Carolina, and then everything went to hell after that. But as far as year one as a starter, I don't think there's any doubt Bazelak's been better. He's a lot calmer. He's a lot more poised. He's more accurate at this point. I didn't think tonight was his best game, but I think certainly so far what you've seen gives you a lot of hope. Now, Drew had some physical tools that I don't think Connor has, and I don't know if those are things you can really develop. But first-year quarterback, I think you got to be pretty happy with what he's done.
Yeah. I also have another question. What do you think about their big powerhouse running back Roundtree?
Look, I love watching Larry Roundtree run. Again, tonight, not his best game, certainly. But I said during our in-game, I said during our in-game chat, I thought it was kind of fitting that the guy he passed to break this record was Zach Abram, because I think they're both guys that they're not flashy. They're not going to probably run 75, 80 yards very often. They're not the fastest guys on the field. They just get the job done. They show up every week and do what you need them to do. And I think Larry would get a little more attention if he played on more successful winning teams. But I think he's a guy that I don't think in 10 years anybody, when you say who's the best 5 running backs in Missouri history, I don't think a lot of people are going to mention Larry Roundtree, but I think they probably should,
Yeah, he's a total underdog, I think.
Yeah, no question. But appreciate the call, man. Appreciate you being a part of it tonight.
Yeah, man. Hey, I love you so much, man.
All right, thanks, Robert. Have a good one, man.
All right, so.
All right, so we had a 913 call. I tried to add you in. It didn't work out. You call back, I'll get you on. I'll give you a free month. So if you call back, I promise I will get you in. And again, want to get to these calls or these comments, the questions in the comments that we just haven't had a chance to. Also want to mention this is the greatest product Boulevard has ever made. It's a Tank 7 Tall Boy. It's fantastic. The only way they could have made Tank 7 any better was to put it in bigger cans. Well, they did that. So, well done, Boulevard. Much appreciated. It's going to get me through the rest of this show, I think. Might even get me to talk to the Cat Facts guy again, to be honest. But, okay. Jumping back on with 573. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Gabe. It's Justin Ferguson. How are you doing, man?
What's up, Justin? How are you, man? What's going on?
Hey, doing well. When you open that beer, that sound was absolutely perfect. I mean, I was like, damn it, I wish I had a beer right now.
There you go.
But first thing, Larry Roundtree, passing Abram tonight, awesome for that young man. Who would have thought, coming out of high school, he'd, eventually be the leading running back as far as rushing yards goes in Missouri history.
Totally agree with you. We got somebody that's on hold here that needs to turn down your computer if you don't mind. Sorry, Justin, didn't mean to cut you off. But
yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, I'm actually hearing the beginning of your call again. So, but no, I totally agree with you with Larry. I mean, just a guy that he's a guy that you hold up as an example of, hey man, you don't have to go tweet out 75 offers. All it takes is the right program and the right fit, and you can go do what he did.
Yeah, and that formation, that Wildcat formation of having Roundtree in the backfield, I noticed he had Young off to one side, and then he had Beatty off to another. I think that was just something that I noticed with Drink, mixing up, giving really the offense that different dynamic of really either running back coming in motion there, something that I kind of noticed that I thought was cool. And then later in the game, that last series, I know we kind of disagreed on what they should do between second and third down, but doing play action on 3rd and 6 there, I thought it made absolutely no sense. Drink should have switched that up, done it on 2nd down, only because they were expecting you to run in that situation. If you pick up the 1st down, the game's over. If you drop a pass and the clock stops, then you just run it on 3rd down, make them burn the timeout.
That's fair.
I wish Drink would have reversed that, but other than that, I mean, the offense in the second half was kind of what we thought, was probably going to end up happening.
Right.
They knew that South Carolina was not going to really be able to move the ball and really threaten them, and it kind of showed in the play calling.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, that's fair on that last series. Definitely fair criticism, but also, like we said, hey, he pinned him at the 1 yard line, and that team wasn't going 99 yards, so got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, when he pinned him at the 1 yard line, I was kind of like, well, you know what, it worked out in the end. So
exactly, punter was the MVP.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you doing this. And I'll be back on again next week. Thanks,
All
man.
right, sounds good. Thanks, Justin. All right, I'm going to jump over now. 913 area code. You still on with me? 913, you still there? All right, I think 913 is gone. What about 303? You still on the call with me?
Yeah, yes I am, Gabe. How you doing?
Not bad. Who am I talking to? I know this is somewhere is somewhere out like a Denver area code. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm in Denver. I'm in the Navy. So, anyways, I was calling, man, to say that I know we were looking at our recruiting. Our recruiting looks good, defensive line, and obviously we got some stud secondary coming in and stuff like that. But what is the holdup on some of our offensive stuff? I know we got Tyler Macon coming in, who's probably going to push Bays a little bit, but also what do you think the stall is on us getting receivers that seem to be going to all these other schools, and also we also offered a couple running backs that didn't seem to stick either.
Well, they do have 2 running back commitments right now, I think. I'd have to look. I know they got Taj Butts from the St. Louis area, and they got a second one. So I think they're okay at that position. Wide receiver is really the one.
He's talking to someone else. I'm just getting the other guy talking.
Hey, I got you. 913. You're here, man. I've got you. I know you're on the call. I just got I can only add one call at a time and answer you, so I'll get to you in 30 seconds, okay? If you can hang with me. All right. So wide receiver is really the issue that you're looking at, and they were going after the East St. Louis kids, didn't get them. I think they're looking more at transfers now. I don't know what else is really out there, to be quite honest with you. So that's the situation on the offensive side. It's definitely something to watch. And, man, I appreciate the call, but I got another guy on the line. I got 2 more calling in, so I got to move on if you don't mind. 913 area code. Who am I talking to here?
Hey, this is Matt in Phoenix again.
What's
be quick. You and Mitchell both mentioned during the broadcast that the second half was kind of a snooze fest from the offensive standpoint. Do you feel that was kind of the offense getting more conservative during the second half, or a lack of execution, maybe a little bit of both?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was partly Missouri kind of knowing that it probably was going to win the game, even if it didn't score again. But also, look, they just, like Drinkwitz said, they couldn't run the ball. They struggled. Basilak was inaccurate, made some bad throws. So they definitely struggled in the second half. There's no question. South Carolina deserves a little credit, but also Missouri was as good as it needed to be. This is a limited team that I don't think can complain about a win, right? I mean, you would have liked it to be better. There are some things to tweak, but overall, they did what they had to do. I think this is a team that any win you get, you got to be okay with. So I got 2 calls from the 816 area code on the phone. The only way to differentiate this is the last couple numbers. So if your phone number ends in 85, if you're on the line, who am I talking to?
Hi, this is
Gabriel. This is Joe.
Go ahead.
Hi. So, what do you think about Nick Bolton?
I think he's a heck of a player who's probably going to be a first-round draft pick next year.
And do you have any thoughts about Chad Bailey?
Yeah, we haven't seen Chad Bailey play a lot, right? He served his suspension tonight, was available for the second half, but I don't think he played really in the second half because Nick Bolton's playing every snap and Devin Nicholson's playing most of them. So we haven't seen Chad Bailey a whole lot. So I'm not sure what to think of him. He plays some on special teams, but I don't think we've seen him much on defense. So he's a guy that if Nick Bolton does go pro, might have to play a little bigger role next year.
And then for the other running back, Michael Cox, how do you think he's doing?
Who's that?
The other running back, Michael Cox.
Yeah.
How do you think he's doing?
Sure. I think we're good, man. I'm going to move on. Appreciate it. Joe, you still on the line with me? Joe? 816. You still there?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay, what's going on, man? Sorry.
So about what do you think about the other running back, Michael Cox?
Yeah. Sorry, hit the wrong one there. 314 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Gabe. This is Corey. Glad to be on the air.
What's up, Corey? How you doing, man? It's been a night.
I'm great. Question about the scheduling as far as the rest of the season goes. Really asking about the Georgia game. Do you think we played Georgia on the 19th? Do you think the schedule gets moved around? How do you see the rest of the season playing out with all this COVID stuff?
Right. I mean, that's obviously if I thought I had any idea on that, I would move to Vegas and build huge buildings. I mean, the plan right now is Arkansas next week, Mississippi State the week after that, then Vandy, then Georgia. I don't see any reason for the order of those games to change because none of those teams are going to be involved in the SEC title game. Like, you're not going to have to move that game because Georgia is going to play Alabama unless Florida just falls on its face. So I think that'll be the order of the games in all likelihood. Now, look, Mississippi State traveled 49 players today. Missouri traveled 56. So in 2 weeks, is that game in jeopardy? Sure, it's in jeopardy. Who knows, man? We'll know on Thursday if they play or not. So it's kind of we go week to week. But I think, like I was saying earlier, I think that Missouri showed this week, look, they're going to do what they can to get in games, right? They're not going to be unsafe about it, but they're going to do everything they can to play games. So I'm not going to put anybody's money, including yours, on do they play all 4 games, but they're going to try to.
Awesome. Thank you. You.
All right. Thank you. So back to 816. I apologize. I hung up on the wrong 816 call last time. So I've got you back. I appreciate you calling back in. Who am I talking to?
Gabriel, this is Joe again.
Joe, thanks,
Appreciate
man.
It.
Apologize for trying to let the guy ask about the running back that doesn't exist 6 times while you were on hold.
Mac Anderson?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Here's what I want to know. How hard is Eli going to dunk on Barry next weekend? And why will it be a tomahawk? I'll listen offline.
You know, that's interesting, Joe, and I appreciate the call, man. Like, I don't think Eli Drinkwitz has any issue with Barry Odom. I mean, you know, I think Odom tried to hire him a couple years ago. I don't think there's animosity there. I understand Missouri fans are going to want him to, but I don't think it exists. And let's be honest, man, I think that game's going to be a dogfight. I don't know if Drink's got a team that can go out and hang 50 on an Arkansas defense that has played pretty well, to be quite honest with you. 602, if you can hang with me for just a second. I'm in the middle of an answer, and we'll get to you in a minute. But look, the Barry Odom storyline is going to be very interesting. I'm going to do everything I can to talk to Barry this week. It's not going to happen, but I'm going to give it a shot and leverage my having known him for 25 years and see if I can make it happen. But it's going to be an interesting storyline, but I don't really think there's a story there as far as Drinkwitz and running up the score and anything like that. I don't think that's going to exist this week. So, all right, back to the phone, 602 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Gabe, this is Mike from Arizona. Hey,
Mike?
Thanks for what you're doing. This is a lot of fun for everybody who's not Columbia anymore, who lives everywhere else. It's fun to listen to what you're doing. So, hey, I was just wondering, other than the Georgia game, do you think, with Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, do you think 3-1 is that kind of what you would expect moving forward? Is that your expectation, or do you think 2-2 is more? What are your expectations, I guess I would ask you, moving forward with these games?
I think 3-1 is the goal, but I don't know if I would say 3-1 is the expectation, if that makes sense. I think 3-1 is very possible. I think they'll be a favorite over Arkansas by like a field goal, maybe. I think they'll be favored over Mississippi State, and I think they'll be favored over Vandy. So 3-1 is definitely possible. But this team also has limitations, and the roster's changing every week. That if you go 2-2 and finish 5-5, I'm not going to say that's disappointing and you fell short of the expectation, right? 3-1's the goal, but not the expectation, if that makes a lot of sense. Even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, it's what I said. I'm halfway through a Tank 7 tall boy, so, what are you going to do? 636 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Gabe, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. I got you. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, Gabe? It's Josh from St. Louis. And I just wanted to say, and I made this analogy on your site before, but I feel like this entire season has kind of been this like love affair of Barry Odom and Eli Drinkwitz. And Eli Drinkwitz is like this hot new girlfriend that you're always talking to your friends about. And your friends are like, I get it. Like, yeah, your new girlfriend's great. But you're like, oh, no, but you don't understand. Like, my last girlfriend, like, she was super abusive, broke my heart a dozen times. And I feel like that's how fans feel about Barry Odom.
Yeah.
And Drinkwitz is just like, like fans want to love him. But the thing I have to say is, like, I feel like you'd be wrong to not feel that way, because one of the big knocks on Barry Odom the entire time he was here, and because like I hate knocking on Barry Odom all the time, but you can't help but not bring him up.
Right.
But one of the big like things that I've been noticing is like Eli Drinkwitz is winning the close games, and that's just something Odom could never do.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, like, look, Eli is. I've said this 100 times. Barry Odom did the worst thing you can do. He followed the guy, right? Whoever followed Gary Pinkel was probably going to fail and probably going to get fired. And that was Barry. You want to be the guy that follows the guy, because now you've got this honeymoon period. Like, nothing that goes wrong is going to be Drinkwitz's fault for 3 years in the minds of a lot of fans. And like, that's cool. I get it. I think Barry has piled on too much. But again, like you said, I mean, Eli is doing a lot of things Barry didn't do. He beat Kentucky. He beat South Carolina in a one-score game. He upset LSU, a ranked team. Now, we know LSU really shouldn't be ranked, but they were at the time. Barry had chances to do that against teams like that and didn't do it. So, on one hand, yeah, it's over the top, honeymoon period and all that. But on the other hand, he's proven to be worthy of some of that too. So, I love the analogy. It cracked me up, but I think it's actually very accurate.
Yeah, and then just one last comment I had for you about how, like, I agree with you. Drink shouldn't have the Arkansas game circled on his calendar, because he shouldn't have a grudge against Barry Odom. But I think Drinkwitz realizes, like, this is the guy that you're supposed to replace, and you kind of want to show you're better than him. Now, I know Barry Odom's not the head coach of Arkansas, but he's on the other sideline after all, and I don't know what the COVID situation is with Pittman still. So, yeah, I think this is a big game coming up. But yeah,
Pittman coached tonight, so he'll coach next week. But, like, with Drinkwitz, you know how you prove you're better than Barry Odom? You go beat his team with his players. Like, because that's one thing we can't ignore. Connor Bazelak was recruited by him. Larry Roundtree was recruited by him. Jarvis Ware, Tyree Gillespie, Josh Bledsoe, Nick Bolton, all these players doing these things were recruited by Odom. So, obviously, he brought some talent into this program. Now, look, he didn't get it done. He wasn't good and all that, but I don't think there's a personal thing there other than you prove you're better than the last guy by taking the players he brought that he went 6-6 with, and you go 6-4 with, in an all SEC schedule. That proves you're better. I don't think there's it, I just don't think that the pettiness personal angle exists like it will for fans this week, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for taking my call, Gabe.
All right, Josh, appreciate it, man. All right, 816 on the line. Who am I talking to? Is this Joe again?
Yes, this is Jeremy. There must have been some sort of confusion I got hung up on. I just had 2 questions.
Okay, you asking about the running back?
Yeah, the other running back, Michael Cox.
Yeah, there is no running back on this team.
Compare him?
There is no running back on this team named Michael Cox.
Sorry, you can go.
What's that?
So what are your thoughts about Michael Cox, and can you compare him to Roundtree?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a running back on the team named Michael Cox. So,
I saw him. It's on the roster.
Okay, I don't know who he is. So he hasn't played. He's seems unlikely to play. So I don't really know.
And then so what do you think about comparing Connor's first year and Drew Lock's first year?
Yeah, we talked about that some earlier. And I think, I don't know if it was you who asked or somebody else, but Connor has been better in his first year as a starter than Drew was. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to end up better, but his first year has definitely been better.
And how do you think this year and last year compare?
This year is better, man. It's worse because we never know when they're going to play, and like COVID sucks and all that. But as far as the actual results on the field, it's better. It's an improvement. It's a step up. There's no question about it. This team is more entertaining to watch, I think. It feels like there's a future. There are things to hope for. So yeah, I think they've made an upgrade on the sideline, and I think there's more interest in the program, and I think those are all good things.
Yes, and what do you think about the big games that we've had against like LSU taking that win?
Yeah, huge win. Very big win for the program. Very big win for Drinkwitz. LSU's not very good, but that's okay. You don't apologize for that.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Yep.
So I'll see you later. Thanks for taking my call. I love you so much, man.
All right. Appreciate it, buddy. I got another call coming in, so thanks for the call. Thanks for being part of the show tonight. So, all right, we're going to jump to the 832 area code. Who am I talking to?
Talking with Patrick.
What's up, Patrick? How you doing, man?
Man, doing all right. Hey, I just jumped back on after listening to one of your callers, and there actually is a Michael Cox on the roster. I guess he's a walk-on. So,
I really I honestly, I swear to God, I thought he was like trying to troll me into, saying something vulgar.
I thought the same thing.
I truly have no idea who that is.
Number 35.
Okay, well, I mean, good for Michael. I hope he has a good career, but I've never heard of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quickly, I think tonight was just a perfect example of really fans' expectations have to be adjusted for this year. And this is one of those games where you're just like, this is the reason why. It seems like teams right now are the ones that can survive off, who has the most duct tape and bubble gum to put a team together is going to be the ones that do well. And that's kind of what's happened. I mean, you're seeing the effects of having a makeshift offensive line kind of come together and the constant rotation. So, what could be considered ugly wins in previous years, now you just call it a win, and you move on to the next one and hope you have enough players to fill the team the next week.
100%.
Kudos for Missouri for doing that.
Yeah, I couldn't put any better than that. I mean, look, this team can't apologize for any win. Right? You're not good enough to apologize for a win. So you take it. You move on. Look, we've spent the last 4 years basically saying, well, I feel like if we just would have changed this one play or this one thing, they would have beaten South Carolina and Kentucky, but they didn't. So, I feel like I feel like you hit it, man. I can't improve upon what you said. Duct tape and bubble gum and get to 6-4 and play in some weird-ass bowl game on January 2nd.
Absolutely. Yep. And call it a win.
All right.
Finally, one thing, I was listening to Drinkwitz's press conference, and he talking about the punter, and he said this is why we'll be asking him to come back for another year.
Right.
And it kind of gets you thinking here. There's a lot of seniors here where I guess they kind of fall into three categories of where you have the ones that are just going to go pro, and
Right.
you just know they are, so you're not the chance of them coming back is slim to nil. Then you have that group that maybe you're hoping have the NFL aspirations, but maybe didn't do well enough this year to get a high draft pick, so you're able to bring those guys in. And then I guess there's some guys who are either on one side or maybe even both sides are kind of like, it's time to call it a career and move
Right.
on to things outside of, move beyond college, graduate, move on. But even with Missouri's roster as depleted as it is right now, it's just the numbers alone. I guess you still have to anticipate there are going to be a significant number of those, correct?
Yeah, I think, like you said, there's three categories. I mean, look, Josh Bledsoe, Tyree Gillespie, they're already playing in the Senior Bowl. They're not coming back. Larry Roundtree, same thing. But what about a guy like Grant McInnes, who I don't know that he's a pro? What about a guy like Chris Turner, who he's probably not a pro? He may not be a star, but like he can help you next year when you need bodies. It's going to be really interesting to follow, man. And I don't have any predictions or anything like that other than just it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. A new bit of excitement, I guess, in the offseason. Something we haven't seen before that we'll get to follow.
Right.
So,
let's make recruiting more
Gabe.
screwed up, right?
I'm sorry?
Let's make recruiting more screwed up.
Yeah, exactly. And the transfer portal again.
Yeah.
So good stuff, Gabe. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right, Patrick. Thanks, man. All right. Appreciate I got two guys on the line. Appreciate you guys hanging on. 913 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Gabe, I figure I'd try to rescue you from some Michael Cox running back questions.
Apparently there actually is a Michael Cox on the team. I had no idea.
Right. So, completely off topic, you've mentioned that the Masters is your bucket list sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about DJ winning, and how do you feel about the Masters in the fall versus the spring?
You know what? I watched more of the Masters last week than I think I've watched in 10 years, except for the final round of 2019. Like, it was on, and I had nothing else to do, and Missouri didn't play, and I was like, oh, my God, this is great that this is here to be able to do. It was cool. I'm really happy we get another one in 5 months. I like DJ. I was cool with it. I wanted there to be a little more drama, but that's all right. It was a hell of a tournament. So appreciate the call. And 303 area code, I got you on the line. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. It's Greg again. Hey, I got a question about the. So how do you feel about our current receivers? I mean, I know Barrett Bannister looked good tonight.
Yeah.
I know Tosky Dove made that. He made that touchdown pass,
Right.
But it seems like our transfers, Kiki Chisholm and also Hazleton, just aren't as explosive and productive as in the beginning of the season. They were pretty much being raved up to be. And then I saw Macklin dressed out today, and some of our other young receivers. When are they going to? When do you think you throw them into the fold to get them ready for next year? Because we do have some receivers that just haven't been able to get the reps.
Yeah, like J.J. Hester hasn't played this year. I think. I mean, I think we need to give Kiki Chisholm some credit. He had his best game tonight. He made some plays tonight, including a pretty nice third down conversion that at one point was going to be called back for offensive pass interference, but then wasn't. So I thought Chisholm I thought he took a step tonight. Hazleton, he wasn't on the field much, man. I saw him for 2 or 3 snaps, and that was really it. Jalen Knox, I think, is the best weapon in this receiving core. I think he's a guy that you like and has a lot. Tosky Dove, I've been impressed with. I liked he made a hell of a catch on that first touchdown, and he's made some plays over time. Barrett Bannister is the guy that just, look, 3rd and 3, he gets you 4. 3rd and 4, he gets you 5. 3rd and 5, he gets you 6. He does what you ask him to do. Hazleton, look, yeah, he's been a disappointment so far. I don't really think there's a way around that. I mean, there's tons of reasons for it, not all of which, hey, weird off season. Maybe he's putting pressure on himself. Maybe there's not enough talent. Whatever. Plenty of reasons. Not all of them his fault, but he's been disappointing. Chisholm also has been disappointing based on the hype we heard out of fall camp. Now, I always say, I stress every year, and I've done this even on the years when we've been able to cover fall camp and see things in person. I've told people, look, we're just seeing kind of a fraction of the available information. So don't get too hyped up off a kid having a real good practice on August 12th or something, right? Well, this year, that was even more true because what was happening is we were seeing nothing. Like, we literally were not allowed to go to practice. And so all we could do after practice is say, I don't know, who looked good. And people just kept saying, Kiki Chisholm, man, that guy's going to play in the NFL. Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they made it up. I have no idea, right? Because I never saw it. So I was a little bit skeptical coming in. But again, I want to give him credit. I thought he had a good game tonight. I thought he was productive. But as far as the young guys, I think now Missouri shifted a little bit into the part of the schedule where your goals win games, man. Your goal is not get J.J. Hester ready for next year. Your goal is to beat Arkansas and beat Mississippi State and beat Vandy and go 6-4 this year. And then you worry about J.J. Hester and Jay Macklin in the offseason and Chris Abrams-Drain. Those are and Chance Looper. I mean, those are 4 young guys. So that's why one reason I'm not too worried about wide receiver recruiting. One of the other callers earlier asked about that. Like, they got a lot of guys that are on this team that haven't really played yet that – I mean, Chance Looper, we saw he made one 70-yard catch against LSU. Jay Macklin played a little bit tonight. J.J. Hester's gotten on a few times, but not a lot. So there are guys, but, I think probably next year is more their time. I think this year it's more the guys we've seen so far.
Makes sense, Gabe. And who do you got tomorrow for Chiefs and Raiders?
I got the Chiefs by 1,000,000 because they got pissed off when John Gruden drove a bus around their stadium.
Totally agree. Thanks for your call. Thanks for taking my call, Gabe.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, 314 area code. Who am I talking to?
Hey, this is Mark from the Lou.
What's up, Mark? How you doing, man?
Good, brother. I feel like we're losing a lot on the defensive side next year with Bolton,
agree,
Bledsoe, and Gillespie gone.
At a minimum,
how do we make up for that?
What's that?
With Bledsoe, Gillespie, and Bolton being gone next year, how do we make up for that?
Yeah, I think there's 2 ways. I mean, you do have some younger guys that they like. Martez Manuel, Stacy Brown. At linebacker, it's going to be making up for Nick Bolton. It's going to be tough. But like I said earlier, I think the way you make up for that is you get better on offense. The defense, you understand, probably going to take a little step back next year. You're going to have to score more points next year. Not going to win many games 17-10 next year, right? Connor Bazelak's got to take a step. Tyler Beatty's got to be the guy. These receivers we were just talking about, Chris Abrams-Drain, Jay Macklin, J.J. Hester, they got to be ready to help. You got to have a tight end, whether it's Nico Hay, whether it's Logan Christopherson, Messiah Swinson, whatever. You got to have one of those guys step up. I think you've got to be better on offense next year to make up for what you're losing on defense because you're losing a lot. Gillespie's going to be gone, Bledsoe, Bolton, Trey Williams gone, Akil Byers gone, Chris Turner may be gone, Markel Utzi may be gone. I mean, there's a lot of them. They're losing a ton of guys on defense next year. So the way you make up for that is, part of it's on defense, but a big part of it's on offense. So, man, I appreciate all the calls we've gotten, even the made up weird ones. Appreciate even the ones asking about walk-on running backs I've never heard of. It's prevented me from answering your guys' questions who, like, literally you asked these questions when I started this show an hour and a half ago. And I haven't gotten to them because I just haven't had a chance. And I'm going to do that now while we have nobody on the phone lines. And maybe somebody will call in and interrupt that. I do want to, one more time, Boulevard Brewing Company, they present this show. They make Tank 7 in a 16-ounce can now. It's the greatest thing that's happened to Boulevard. It's one of the better things that's happened to the human race, if we're being honest. I mean, I've got a bunch of them downstairs. Got some very small gathering for Thanksgiving. We're going to have a couple of those on Thursday. Hopefully there's no breaking news on Thursday because it will go uncovered thanks to the Tank 7 Tall Boys. But I want to shout out to Boulevard. Want to shout out to our sponsors from earlier in the day. That's Burger Smokehouse and also Call and Gentry Law Group making this all possible. We've been on the air for about seven hours now. So want to run through your guys' questions now, and I'm gonna get to everyone. It may take a minute. You may not be on anymore. You may catch up on a replay, but I'm gonna get to all the questions that we've had so far. Offense in the second half from Chad Brenton, and again, to you guys that were on here at the beginning that are still on, thank you a ton. This is only worthwhile if you guys are on here and participate. Like, I got no, if I just want to drink beer and talk about football, like, I'll just drink beer and text a couple friends. This only works if you guys are here. So appreciate you doing it. Chad Brenton asking if the offense in the second half was South Carolina playing well or Missouri playing poorly. And I don't want to completely discount South Carolina, right? I mean, they deserve a little credit. They got better from last week and all that. But I think it was mostly just Missouri knew it probably had enough points to win the game. And there was some lack of execution. Drinkwitz said they didn't run the ball well, and that certainly was a thing. They had some penalties and all that. But I think the second half was more Missouri than it was South Carolina, because South Carolina has proven throughout the season they're not very good on defense, to be honest. Does 3-3 look worse because there isn't a non-conference schedule? You look at 3-3 and you don't think, hey, great season. Well, 3-3 where they're standing right now, I mean, in a normal season they're probably 6-4 with 2 games to play, and they probably didn't play Alabama, so maybe they're 7-3. If you manage to finish 6-4 this season, that's the equivalent of like a 9-3 season. He gets to 6-4 this year. I wouldn't argue if somebody voted him coach of the year. So yeah, I kind of agree with Robert. 3-3 actually looks better because it's only been SEC games. But I understand your question. And yes, on the surface, 3-3 doesn't look good, but because it's an all SEC season, it's actually better than it looks, no question. All right, was it just my imagination? This is from David. David Dowell, I believe. Was it just my imagination, or was Bazelak a little less accurate with his passes than what we've seen so far? Yeah, I thought this was one of like a below average game for Bazelak. You heard at the end of Drinkwitz's press conference that he had a couple criticisms. Number one, can't throw the screen pass with 13 seconds left in the first half. I was glad to hear Drinkwitz say that, because when I watched that play call, I thought that was the design of the play. And I thought, what the hell are they doing, man? They got really lucky, because I wasn't sure Kiki Chisholm got out of bounds. But I'm glad to hear him say that Bazelak just threw the wrong pass there. And then the underthrown interception, I mean, he underthrew that ball by 6 yards. And Drinkwitz said it. I mean, he said it. This isn't me. He said, that's a horrible throw. So look, he's a redshirt freshman. He started 7 games, plenty to get better on, but also plenty of time to get better. But I agree, this was probably a below average game for him. Bradley Heath asked, was this an over conservative play calling type game? Yeah, I think this was Drinkwitz knew I can probably win this game with 17 points. And that's okay. Like, the goal is to win. The goal is not necessarily to cover or to win. Missouri did cover, or to win by 30. The goal is just win. And they did that. So that's good. And yeah, Eric, I understand this was a long time ago. Yes, when we were drinking. Look, I gotta do the display. These are the 2 best things Boulevard makes: Space Camper, Tank 7. Like, you have either of those, you're gonna be happy. I'm perfectly happy sitting here. It's almost gone. So, hopefully I roll through these questions pretty soon. I generally set aside about an hour and a half for 2 hours for this post-game show. We've got an hour and a half so far. I get a little writing to do when we're done. But, yeah, those are the two best beers. If you can get them somewhere, get them. I don't know if you can ship it across straight lines, whatever. But the Boulevard post-game drink powered by Tank 7 and Space Camper tonight. So I feel like it's been successful. All right. Eric again wants to know, Drink opened up the playbook versus LSU. Why haven't we seen that since then? I think there's two things. First of all, he felt like he had to against LSU. He felt like LSU was going to score, and they had to score with him, right? And also that was a game where he was playing a team with a name, and he's trying to give his team confidence. Hey, you're 0-2, but you can beat this team. South Carolina, they didn't have to do that, but there was some creativity. I mean, that little drag screen to Kiki Chisholm on third down, I liked. The Wildcat formation with Beatty and Young and Roundtree all on the field, I liked. I mean, there are some things, and there are some things setting things up for down the road. So maybe we haven't seen flea flickers and craziness, but you can still see some pieces there in every game. But also, you haven't seen it. I mean, you didn't need it today. You didn't need it against Kentucky. Maybe you could have used it against Florida, but honestly, I don't think it would have done any good. So I'll be interested to see what the game plan is for Arkansas next week. I think Arkansas is probably the closest you're going to get to like a true toss-up game this season, where there's like, I think it's going to be within a field goal on the spread. So I'll be interested to see how Drinkwitz goes. Dean didn't love the play calling in the second half. Totally understand it. I think it was vanilla by design, but all right, Cam asks, should Mizzou pump the brakes on grad transfer wide receivers Chris Black, Jonathan Nance, now Hazelton and Chisholm all had a fair amount, and Darius White all had a fair amount of fanfare and didn't end up producing all that much? Yeah, look, it doesn't mean you don't take a shot on the next guy. I mean, the ones they've had so far haven't worked out great, but it doesn't mean there's some big flaw, in general with grad transfer wide receivers in Missouri. It just means the ones they've had haven't worked. So I don't think it necessarily makes you shy away from other guys. Rick says the offensive line is decimated. No question, that's fair. Matt's wanting to know if I've watched any Hallmark Christmas movies. Dean asks about Basilac's release. He seemed to be letting the ball go at the very top of the rotation of his arm as if he was trying to throw over his line. That's interesting. I didn't notice that watching the game. It's something to watch. We'll check it out. Does the team that took the field tonight beat Arkansas? Maybe. Missouri was legit good on defense tonight. You give up 10 points, right? Working on offense. Arkansas's not great on offense. Team tonight has a chance against Arkansas. Probably has to play a little bit better. All right, Luke with the Space Camper love. Always got to get that up there. Got to shout out the second best beer Boulevard makes anytime we can. The offense's performance may have as much to do with throwing warm bodies in the line because of decimated depth. Stewart says 100%. Unlike the other two wins, this one was on the road. It's a good point, no question. David Dowell says whoever picked Mizzou to win 2 games is clearly not on Drink's Christmas list. He has screenshots. Look, I want to say it wasn't me. I picked 3 and 7. So, I just want to say that I picked 3 and 7. So that's it wasn't me. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't me. Let's see. Let's keep going on. All right. Eli has more wins against South Carolina than Carolina has total wins this year. Is that right? I don't think it's right because I think he's beaten them twice now, and South Carolina has 2 wins this year. So same number. All right. Keep rolling through some of the comments. Again, I'm just catching up, guys. Like, I appreciate all the activity. And we've just been so busy with calls, and we had some technical deals early, so I'm just catching up on all this. And I know we still got comments rolling in, and I'm going to get to them. I'm not going to be done till the comments and the questions are done. So we're going to get there. Basilak home versus away question seemed legit. Yeah, we'll see. That it's possible. Let's see. I thought Devin West had more rushing yards than any running back in Mizzou history. Devin is the single season record holder and at one point was the single game record holder. Henry Josie may have broken that, but no, Larry Roundtree now has the most rushing yards for a career of any Missouri running back. As Stuart West accurately pointed out. Davin was asking about Elijah Young playing prior tonight. Yeah, he played a little bit, not a lot, but he has been on the field before. Eli's clock and game management has left much to desire. There have been some questions. I thought the end of the first half tonight was a little questionable, but that's all right. Young played a little. Macklin caught a screen pass. Hot shoulders pointing out there is a running back on Mizzou named Michael Cox. Again, that's the best part of this show. I learned that. I had no idea. All right. Mississippi State is awful outside of tonight. Tend to agree. Mevis looks like he's about 260. We wanted him to play on the defensive line all night. Canoe Man weighing in. Appreciate it. Criticism, Missouri's receivers are absolutely terrible. I don't think they're that bad, but they're not great. They're not the strength of the team. This guy sucks. I don't know who that's directed to, but Breakfast King of Loyola was with us all day. We got to get his comments in. What's the emotion like for the guys who Odom recruited next week? Look, they want to win, right? They're playing for Missouri. They want to win. But also, there are guys that owe their collegiate careers to Barry Odom, and some of them who are playing pretty big roles on this team who didn't have other choice. I mean, Towski Dove didn't have other choices, and Barry Odom gave him a shot at Missouri. He's made the most of it. Same with Barrett Bannister. Same really with Larry Roundtree, if you're being honest about it. Tyler Beatty was a Memphis commit till Missouri grabbed him. So Nick Bolton had basically been dropped by Washington. So there's a lot of guys on this team who look, they like Barry Odom. Now they want to beat him next week. I'm sorry. No question. But, there's a lot of guys on this team that aren't here without Odom. So that's the thing. And like I said, I'm going to do my best, guys, to talk to Barry this week. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to use every connection I got to try to get it done for you. So, all right. How about Pocket Watch? How about hey, we're getting an Auburn viewer here. A lot of Michael Cox talk. We don't need Hump 707. We don't need commercial breaks, man. We're good. The only thing I'm going to need a break for is my next beer because I got to write post-game thoughts. All right, let's see. So many Michael Cox comments. This has become the thing of the night. I'm still amazed that this guy exists, honestly. I had no clue. I might do a story on Michael Cox at this point. All right. Let's see. These comments are just all Michael Cox. No golf talk. We just beat South Carolina on the road, and we're talking about the Masters. Golf sucks. NASCAR question. These are great, guys. I wish I would have read these live. I now want Michael Cox to play. Like, this is now a Michael Cox show. We're going to do this. I legitimately thought the guy was calling, trying to get me to say Mike Cox, and think that was hilarious. I had no idea that guy even existed. This is amazing. Michael Cox is the star of this show. Akil Byers could be a senior that comes back. Yeah, that's possible. Disappointed we didn't see Cox against Cox. These are great, guys. I'm loving this. All right, so I'm pretty impressed, guys. We still got 100 people on here. We've been rolling for an hour and 40 minutes. I feel like all I've done is answer questions. I haven't even given any thoughts, which is good because I'm going to do that on our website later. Mitchell has been busy writing. Hot Shoulders has a man crush on me. This is what I wanted this show to be, right? I wanted us to just hang out, some weird things to happen, some guys to call in about Michael Cox and tell me he existed when I didn't know. I was going to have some beers. You guys tell me how much you love me. This is it, man. This is 2020. So the Magic Man asks, has Jelani Williams played much and how has he looked? He hadn't played much. He's been on the field, but Missouri's pretty set at safety with Tyree Gillespie and Josh Bledsoe. K. Matthews said he was on the field quite a bit tonight. So let me look up. Let me see if he had a tackle. I've still got, I think, the game stats up. Defense. Jelani Williams did not have a tackle tonight, so I don't have snap counts yet, but we're good. Let's see. Have you been to the Boulevard Beer Hall? We actually had an event at the Boulevard Beer Hall last year for the Arkansas basketball game. I think it was Arkansas. Shortly before COVID hit, we had an event. We had about 60 people there, I think. It was great. We enjoyed it. We're going to try to do it again when we're allowed to see people in public. The Boulevard Beer Hall, I've been there 4 or 5 times. I love it. It's amazing. And, I'm going to go back. Sorry, I'm still scrolling through comments here, guys. Any comment from the Canoe Man that says how great a job I'm doing, I'm going to put that on the screen because that's why we're here. Mike Thornton asking, will Walters be back next week? What is the turnaround time after positive test? So I want to be clear. They said in the release today, or in the text message we all got before the game, that Ryan Walters was in contact tracing, which indicates he is not tested positive. So the time for that is 14 days. And so I'm going to take you guys back I want to say it was last Wednesday, not 3 days ago, but would have been 10 days ago now. I got a message from somebody saying, hey, I'm hearing Ryan Walters is, involved in this COVID stuff. So I messaged somebody in Missouri. I said, look, I'm hearing Ryan Walters has either got COVID or in the contact tracing. Can you confirm or deny that? And the answer was, I can't confirm that. I said, okay, can you deny it? Right? What am I talking about here? Just never got a straight answer. So kind of forgot about it. Game was canceled anyway. Didn't really matter. This Wednesday, we get the coordinators, which means Ryan Walters and Eric Link at 5:15 every Wednesday. So this Wednesday, we're expecting to talk to Ryan Walters, right? Well, we get Eric Link, and he talks and goes on. We're waiting for Walters, and after about 20 minutes, they come back and say, hey, I just haven't seen Ryan since the end of practice. Sorry, I don't know. We'll try to get him later, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, so we're just assuming no big deal. Just didn't see Ryan, all that. Well, it turns out, obviously, what happened was Ryan was in protocol. They knew that he wasn't talking to us, any of that business, and so it's how it went. I don't love it. I wish it wouldn't have gone that way, but it went that way. I want to give a shout out to Pocket Watch here. So this is the thing that my guy JG Tate has told me about, and Pocket Watch I think is one of JG's guys. So Pocket Watch has given us a super chat. And what that means is your comment immediately is going to go to the top. It's going to be promoted on this. We're going to make sure to get it on the stream. So super chat is the thing we know about it. We're going to kind of try to get it going. But basically, hey man, if you like what we're doing, toss us a super chat. Toss us $1 or $2. Just say, hey, thanks for doing this. I'm not going to lie. This is our job. We make money off Power Mizzou, but this part of it, we sell it. We're getting some sponsors. We're not doing it totally for free, but this is kind of another revenue stream for the site. This is a way for us to improve things, and people like Pocket Watch shouting us out and giving us a super chat helps us out, man. That's great. Much appreciated. You will go down as the first super chat contributor in Power Mizzou YouTube late night history. We appreciate that, and thanks, man. I'm gonna tell JG Tate, one of his guys, was on here because JG cashed out and went to bed after Auburn beat Tennessee, and Pocket Watch had to come over to my side, my chat, to give us a super chat. So thank you a ton again. Thanks for all the Auburn guys. Yeah, the Canoe Man basically says yes. The super chat is the tip jar. If you like what you're doing, what we're doing, if you like me in here, if this is a good experience for you, hey, toss us a super chat. We'll put it up. And again, I'm not begging. We've done this all year. We sold it because we're trying to rely on sponsorships. The super chat is something that may come in more down the future. But if you like what we're doing, hey, feel free. We're not going to turn it down. We love it. Hot shoulders, man. We're trying to explain it. It's just guys saying they like what we're doing. So we appreciate Pocket Watch and everybody else being here. See, Pocket Watch is now going down as legendary in the post-game drink history. Breakfast King of Loyola, also legendary. He was on with us all day. Breakfast King, you got to get up in like 6 hours for breakfast. Justin Ferguson accusing. I mean, this is our best show, guys. Let's be honest. This is our best show. I still got to write, but whatever. We'll get to it. We're out of beer, but that's all right. Let's see if I missed people. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Cat Paw 67. I got to make this smaller to get it on the screen. Coach drink comparison reminds me of a younger Chip Kelly when he was at Oregon. Mizzou got it right, hiring a coach that totally runs the offense. Sperry's biggest problem was having to change the offense every 2 years. That's cool. Chip Kelly, hey, if he turns out to be Chip Kelly 1.0, I think people will be happy. Chip Kelly 2.0, I don't think people will be too happy. All right, Justin Ferguson. Hot shoulders, want some weed. Hey, man, we're having fun now. So, yeah, Pocket Watch might be Mitchell 40. No, Mitch is actually writing. I think he's actually working right now. So I hope he is. But there you go. See, the Canoe Man. Yeah, says another thing you can do to help the show is hit the like button. Do that. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Share it with people. Just tell people what we're doing. Look, it's a new venture this year. We're trying to do something different for you guys. It's turned out hopefully pretty well. We've had some bumps along the road, some issues, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And we're getting a little bit of traction. And this is something we want to continue. We're going to do some of it for basketball season, definitely, especially for big games, pregame, postgame. Maybe not the game watch along as much, but we'll see how it goes. Just kind of what demand is. We're going to keep continuing kind of this forum and this format as we go along. I like it. Look, I get to drink Boulevard as we go along, so but I'm not going to complain about that. Marcus giving Breakfast King the commenter of the day. I agree. I don't have a trophy. Maybe I'll get one made. I don't know. Share on Facebook. I quit Facebook, but yeah, if you want to share on Facebook, do that. Matt wants to know how many more commits they can take in this class. Somewhere between 4 and 8. We don't know the exact number, but somewhere between 4 and 8 is the quick answer. Mitch is meeting with Bob Douglas. I just wanted to put that up. Davin wants to know if other people in the network have commented on Drinkwitz as far as expectations. Not really. I'll be honest, man. The weird thing about doing what we do is you get so caught up in just following your team. Like, I'm not sure I could have named 4 South Carolina players before tonight, right? And like, I'll follow the coaching search a little bit, but after they hire someone, I won't give it a second thought. We just are so hyper-focused every day on the team we cover that I honestly, we just kind of don't even know a ton sometimes about the other teams. So haven't had a lot of discussion, and this season's been so weird. This year's been so weird that haven't had a lot of discussions with guys about things like that, to be quite honest. All right, hot shoulders I don't know if we have to put the explicit warning on for now or not, but all right. Stewart's has just got done with the game on DVR, 3-3 with the win in the Governor's Cup. It's the Mayor's Cup. Mayor's Cup. Governor's Cup is the old Chiefs Rams preseason game. All in on Mizzou, all in on drink. Let's beat the swine next week. I feel like that's mostly how people feel. The PM YouTube inside jokes are improving. The legends of Bob Douglas, Pocket Watch, and Michael Cox. We're getting there, guys. Look, it's early. We're building a following. But, like, we've been on for almost 2 hours since the game ended. We're about 7.5 now for the day. We're getting there, man. It's going to be a process. Pocket Watch and some of you guys that are here from the Auburn side, like Jay's the trendsetter, man. Jay has a couple years head start on us, and he does a hell of a job. He actually showed me how to do all this. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for Jay Tate and Neil McCready. So they've got a head start. We're just trying to catch them, man. That's what we want to do. Eventually, we want to be them. So we need the Bob Douglases, we need the Pocket Watches, we need the Michael Coxes. You know, we need things like that. So there you go. I feel like Pocket Watch is going on the payroll after this, man. Everyone's slurped Sam Pittman, but Eli has got no national recognition. Mitch and I actually talked about this during the game. I feel like now Arkansas is almost getting too much credit for what it's done. Like, they're an average to below average team. I think Missouri is an average to slightly below average team. But because Arkansas was so bad for 3 years, they're getting this credit by being below average. That means they're great. They're not great. They're below average. But they're greatly improved from last year. Those two things can both exist, right? But I think we've reached the point where Arkansas is a little overappreciated because they were for so long underappreciated. All right, look at the Canoe Man tossing us a super chat, man. The Michael Cox of YouTube. That is, I mean, how do you get better than that? I feel like that's the ultimate compliment. I mean, there you go, man. Much appreciated. The Michael Cox. If I still had Twitter, I would change my Twitter bio to I'm the Michael Cox of YouTube. But Canoe Man, Pocket Watch, seriously appreciate you guys being over here. I know you're obviously both the Auburn guys, and that's awesome. And like I said, Jay does a great job. He's a really good friend of mine. Really like everything he does, and he's helped me out a lot with this. So appreciate you guys kind of helping out everybody else. I think I'm going to talk to you guys on G-Pits tomorrow afternoon. I got to figure out some audio things before then, but definitely plan to be there with those guys. Is there some kind of secret rivals publisher society or group chat? By the way, this has completely gone off the rails. We're not even talking about Missouri football anymore. We actually do have a message board for rivals publishers that we post on, but the secret rivals publisher society or group chat is just a group text between me, Jay, and Neil. That's really nobody else can be a part of it. We don't even like any of them. So you like covering Mizzou in the SEC more than in the Big 12, or no difference? It's not a lot different, but honestly, the thing about the SEC that I like a lot less is the travel. It's just a lot tougher. Big 12, there were a lot more places I could drive. Like I could cover a game in Lawrence, Manhattan, come back that day. Norman was and Stillwater were an overnight stay. Ames was probably a one-night stay. Lincoln, I could at least get back to KC that day. In the SEC, man, it's a 2-night trip everywhere, and it's expensive as hell. So that's the one thing I like less. But I like going new places. I like seeing new places, new experiences. It's energized the fan base. That's all good. Pocket Watch points out we have a secret exclusive group text. I don't think it's secret. Like, I'll tell you about it. Me and Jay and Neil have a group text, but you can't know what it says. You can just know that it exists. Lockdown delay for high school football a detriment or positive for a school like Mizzou? I don't think it matters because, everybody's dealing with it, Right. Is rivals versus 247 like Mizzou and Kansas? Not for me, man. 247 doesn't cover Missouri, so I'm good. All right, I'm going to call Jay the Commodore from now on. My ideal Saturday night from Jacob. Mizzou wins a football game. Gabe does a watch-along, watching Bob Douglas watch Mitch interview Michael Cox. I don't know how we get better from this, man. This is, we have reached it. All right, Brandon tossing us a super chat. Keep going strong. Look, I said at the beginning of this, I'll hang out with you guys for as long as you want to hang out. So if you want to hang out, we will certainly hang out. The platform for PM to today, as prime time was the NFL 10 to 15 years ago. Love pregame and postgame, especially after a W. You know what? I'll be honest. I actually watched NFL primetime a few times this year. I didn't even know it was still a thing, but it's on. I have an ESPN Plus, and I've started started watching it after games, and it's kind of cool, man. I kind of like it. Tommy and I don't know. There's some other guy on there. Not Tommy. Boomer and Booger McFarland are the guys now. And I've actually kind of enjoyed it. It's been like a flashback to when I was 17, 18 years old, More super chats coming in. We're going to go to the Breakfast King. Breakfast King's been with us all day, man. He's been the guy. Like I said, I got to give him a trophy. I hope you're back next week. I hope you explain to us why you're the Breakfast King. Breakfast King's Lucky Chili won the game from what he told us all day. He told us at the beginning of the game, look, I made my Lucky Chili. Missouri's going to win. He mentioned it a couple times. They did win the game. So there you go, man. Stuart dropping us a super chat. Seriously, appreciate all you guys doing this, man. This is great. I'm glad to know that we're giving you guys something that you enjoy. Because I was not sure at the beginning of the year if this was going to work out, but I'm enjoying it. It's a lot more fun for me than sitting in a press box covering a game and writing for 6 hours. Afterwards, like I get to kind of hang out with you guys and get to know what you think, and we get to cater to you. Like this is about what you want to talk about, not just about what we want to do. So, we can write all we want, but it's better if it's an interactive deal where you guys get to think or talk about what you want to talk about. So. Shit, man, I think I'm getting a little bit delirious, but that's all right. I said I'm going to hang out here till it's done, so I'm going to hang out here till it's done. Canoe Man, who wins between Jack Bauer and Michael Cox? I got a confession to make. Never seen 24. I think I want to watch it. I think that's the next show I want to watch. Hot Shoulders, you're broke. It's okay, man. Save up. You can give us a super chat in a couple weeks. It's cool. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who's done it so far tonight. And that's in honor of the Breakfast King. There you go, man. So I said during our watch along that the Breakfast King, like, I don't know if that's just something you get to name yourself, but I appreciate it. There was he's like the Sausage King, Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. He's the Breakfast King. Appreciate that. So yeah, Sir Mufflebuns, you're back. We're still on, man. We're just going. We're like I told you, we're gonna do this till you guys are done. So if you guys want to hang out and drink, like I do have one issue. I'm out of beer. I've got more downstairs. I don't have any here, but that's all right. I'll get to it eventually. I still have to write when we're done with this. So Davin's telling me that 24 was good. I need to watch that. I haven't done it. See, that's what we need to do. We need a commenter robe. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get like some sort of Power Mizzou commenter robe. I don't know if I don't know how we're gonna make it work, but we're gonna make it work. So this thing has run the gamut. We have gone from all over the place. We're now at 24 chat. This day, I'll be honest, man, this day didn't start well. We had some issues. I didn't even know if we were going to be on the air. Now we're on the air. So have you figured out what you get for getting likes? No, I think it just makes it a little more visible, man. I don't know, to be honest. But it's acceptable to go downstairs to replenish beer. All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put up the break page, but we're not ending this because I told you we'd stay with you guys till the end. So give me about 45 seconds. All right, so we are back with a Bob's 47 Oktoberfest, our third different one of the night. Thanks to Pocket Watch for giving me permission to run downstairs. That was important. Brandon's asking for the chili recipe from the Breakfast King. Actually, agree. I think that would be a good. I think that would be a good contribution to the chat or to the message board or wherever you want to put it. Call Mitchell, see what he's wearing. I'm not interested. What do you think about the upcoming Missouri basketball season? The goal is the NCAA tournament. I don't know if they're going to get there, but that's the goal. I think this is a team that, like, the ceiling's about a 6-7 seed. The floor's what we've seen the last couple years. I'm interested to see. I'm actually going to cover the game Wednesday night. It'll be the first sporting event I've covered in person since March 7th. I'm interested in that. But, I don't think Oral Roberts is going to tell us a lot. But Illinois, Oregon, BC, they've got some decent games on the non-conference schedule. So, all right, likes are a good thing. This reminds me of Chatterbait. I don't even know what that is. How did Auburn look tonight? Yeah, you guys might be able to help us out on this. The Auburn guys that we have here, Canoe Man and Pocket Watch. All I saw was the final score. Like, they fell behind 10-0. I think they won 27-17, something like that. I didn't see a lot of what else was going on in the SEC tonight. I mean, Georgia looked like crap, but won. Auburn won. Tennessee lost its 5th straight, I think. I think they're 2-5 now. 8-game winning streak seems old. Kentucky competed with Alabama for like 6 seconds and then fell apart. Lost, I think, 63-3 was the final, so that ain't no good. LSU Arkansas was probably the game. Canoe Man's asking about G-Pits coming back live to YouTube. I'll be honest, that's a Jay question and a Neil question. I just kind of like, it's their show, and I'm happy they asked me to be a part of it, and I do it when I can. But I really don't have like any what's the word I'm looking for? Creative license on the thing. I just join them as the funny guy. I try to make their show better by being on it. Let's be honest. They, as far as the work that goes into it, that's all them, man. All I do is turn a computer on and shoot the crap with a couple of my friends for a couple hours. So live YouTube, I know there are some technical things, and Sundays are tough for us during the season, which is when we record. Some things about Zoom make it a lot easier. Off season, I think, is probably a lot better chance for YouTube, but I'll definitely tell Jay that I've got some Auburn guys now over on my channel and shooting us some messages and some money. And hey, if G Pits Live is something you guys want back, I'll do what I can to make it possible. Which, by the way, is not much because I don't really have very much power. All right, I'm just posting comments that I don't even know what they're about now. Is the definition of insanity doing things over and over, expecting different results, eerily similar to Mizzou basketball? That's fair. All right, the Auburn report is they looked okay, scored, looked slightly better than the performance. However, beating UT is a great thing anytime. Totally agree with that part. UT is my least favorite fan base in this league, even though my SEC, what's the word I'm looking for here? Life has not run very long. That's not the word I was looking for, but it's all I could think of. Gregory Thomas, how devastating would a loss to Arkansas be? It wouldn't be. I mean, I think fans would be bummed out by it because it's Odom, but it wouldn't be devastating. I mean, they're pretty similar teams. If you lose that game, you lose that game. You beat South Carolina, you beat Kentucky. They're in your division. That's cool. If you lose to Arkansas, you do. I know you don't want to, but devastating, not at all. I don't think it would be to certain fans, but I don't think it would be all that devastating. Would love to see Mizzou versus SLU. I feel like Georgia is the manifestation of you aren't good unless you have a good QB. I agree with that. Will any Mizzou basketball players get drafted next year? I'd be surprised. It's not out of the question for Tillman or Pinson or Drew Smith to work his way in, but I'd be surprised. Mark Smith, electric. I'd be surprised, but you never know. All right, just rolling through. I'm trying to catch up, guys, but I can't catch up. You guys are. This is awesome. Like I'm seriously. I'm not trying to be, I'm not BSing here. This is great, man. This is what I kind of envisioned when we started this, and we've had some slow weeks, and the season's been all messed up. But this is why I started this, to hang out and just give you guys kind of an outlet to join. And I'm glad to have some of the Auburn guys over here and injecting a little fun into this. This is cool. This is why we started this, and I hope this becomes kind of a weekly thing, and the super chats and all that are great, and I do appreciate it. It's not necessary, but we love it. It makes us know that what we're doing is a little worthwhile, but just kind of have a chance to hang out with you guys and get to know you guys and talk about whatever. Hey, this started as the football game. During the course of the day, we've talked about side salads and Thanksgiving and 24 and all kinds of stuff. So that's what we want every Saturday to be. And like I said, I'm going to do pre and post for some basketball games too. And we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Do you think Drink and the team have additional motivation to beat Odom and the Hogs next week? A little bit. They can't deny that it's of story, but I don't think there's a lot of personal things on there at all. Pocket Watch starting a thread on the bunker dedicated to this chat. That's awesome. Much appreciated. What is the bunker? Come on, Canoe, man. The bunker is Jay's website, man. That's his message board. The bunker, I love the bunker. The bunker is the only place on the internet where the fans are pissed off when they win. I know Pocket Watch, Canoe Man, if you guys listen to G-Pitch, you know how much I love Auburn fans. You're the only fan base in the country that gets pissed off when your team wins. It's amazing. Mentioned knowing Odom decently well after covering him. What's the relationship like between a beat writer and the coaches you cover? Are you friends with guys like Pinkel and Odom? So I want to be clear. Look, we're not friends, right? I mean, we're friendly in certain situations, but I understand they have a job to do. And for the most part, they understand that I have a job to do. And sometimes those jobs are not going to be the same. Barry Odom was a little bit different. I graduated from Mizzou a year before Barry did. I covered Barry as a student at KOMU. I've known him for 25 years. Now, I wouldn't say we're great friends. He always respected that I had a job to do. I respected that he had a job to do and all that. So, but that was the one situation where I covered a guy I've known for a long time. So that one was a little bit I met Conzo Martin the day he got hired. I met Gary Pinkel the day I started at Power Mizzou. I met Eli Drinkwitz the day he got hired. Barry was the exception that I met him, when I was 19 years old, something like that. He was 18 years old. But no, it's a business relationship. I've known Barry for 25 years, and I wrote multiple columns saying this is the type of loss that maybe gets you fired. So I've traded some messages with him since he went to Arkansas. So I know he didn't lose any, he gets my job, I get his job. And they're not always the same. But I think in our business, you're capable of separating the job from, just, hey, I know the guy. I like him. I hope good things for him, whatever he does. I've known him for a long time. I know his wife, have met his kids, all that. So I hope they do well. But have a job to do. He has a job to do and all that. So you wear two different hats, right? You can be a human being, but also do your job like any of you guys in whatever you do. Relationships not different. You have people that this is my job and this is kind of the human being side of me. And sometimes those intersect, but sometimes you have to keep them separate. So, rolling through. I covered this a little bit, Stuart. Basketball team, anywhere between, they have 26 games on the schedule. They probably won't play 26, but if they do, I could see anywhere between 11 and 17 wins. I mean, who knows? It could be anywhere in that range, to be honest. Okay, Mike Thompson wants to know if you had to put money on it, or are you thinking 3-1 or 2-2? I don't bet. The last game I bet, this is no exaggeration. The last game I bet was Ron Dane playing in the Rose Bowl. If I had to bet, I'd bet 2-2. I think they'll drop one somewhere that you don't think they're necessarily going to drop. I think they'll beat Vandy. Mississippi State or Arkansas, I think they drop one of those just because I don't think this team is consistent enough and the numbers aren't there, the bodies and COVID and all that. I think they'll drop one. So if I was going to bet, I'd bet 2-2, but 3-1 won't surprise me at all. I'd 3-1 is the hope, but like I said earlier, not the expectation. So if I was going to bet, I'd bet 2-2, but we'll see. How long until there's an SEC Network documentary on Michael Cox? I don't know, man, but I hope I'm interviewed for it. I hope I'm the media expert in that one. On the other side, how much does Odom want to win? Oh, dude. Oh, badly. Like, there's no question. His relationship with this university is forever changed and not for the better. He wants to win this game. He'll never say it. He won't say it publicly. He probably won't even say it privately to most people, but he wants to win this game badly. There's no question. Let's see. How many games will Tillman foul out? Tillman's problem isn't fouling out. His problem is getting 2 fouls in the first 6 minutes and only getting to play 12 minutes for the game. He doesn't actually foul out because Konzo pulls him as soon as he gets 2. What do you think about Mizzou's incoming basketball recruiting class? It's got a chance, right? I'm not sold on it. The class it compares to is the class that Mike Anderson brought in I think it was 2008, had Kim English, Lawrence Bowers, Marcus Denman. Now, none of those guys were super. I think Keith Ramsey was in that class. None of those guys were superstars as recruits. None of them were like ridiculously highly regarded. The thing is, Marcus Denman turned into a 5-star. Kim English and Lawrence Bowers turned into 4 stars. So these guys, hey, if Trevon Brazile becomes a 5-star, or Yaya Keita, or whatever, if one of them becomes a 5-star and 2 of them become 4 stars, you're great. If they all turn out to be kind of decent players, which is what they are as recruits, then it's not going to work. It has the chance to be a foundational class, but only if a couple of the guys overachieve. So I'm intrigued, but not sold, I guess is the way I would say. How many more opt-outs or transfers? I would think we're done with that, but hell, man, I don't know. We'll see. The Haley twins are coming in. We're just getting off the rails, guys. Shooting a 30 for 30 on ESPN's Breakfast King. An outright 30 for 30 actually on ESPN. Oh, I thought you were saying you were shooting a 30 for 30 on Breakfast King of Loyola, which is, I would be there. I would watch it, so yeah, tonight is why 30 for 30 was created. I appreciate all you guys seriously being here. Like, this was fun. This was the most fun I've had doing this. It's been a ball. We still got 75 people on here almost 2.5 hours after we started it. I feel like this is a natural ending point. Now, don't get me wrong. If you guys want to keep going, we'll keep going. But I feel like this is a natural point to kind of jump off. You have to have an article on Michael Cox and ask about him at the next press conference. So in a normal year, I would actually do this. In a year where on Tuesday afternoons we got to go over and request players and interview them, I would actually interview Michael Cox and I would do a story on him. Now, the problem is everything is on Zoom this year. So we get Eli Drinkwitz for 25 minutes on Tuesday, right? And none of us get to ask more than 2 questions. So is one of my questions really going to be about Michael Cox? Probably not. We get to put in requests for players. Now, they're not often very honored. They kind of choose who we get to talk to. So if I ask for Michael Cox, they're not giving us Michael Cox to interview. Now maybe could I pull a string and say, look, here's the deal. I just want to do a Q&A with Michael Cox for grins. Maybe. I think it's unlikely, but maybe. I'll give it a shot. Again, Canoe Man, thanks, man, for not only being over here, but introducing our people to the Super Chat, because I didn't really know how to introduce that as a concept, but you did it for me, and I much appreciate that. So thanks for joining us and bringing the Power Mizzou people into the Auburn sports age of 2020. David Dowell and Canoe Man and everybody wanting the pantry. Look, the pantry is just behind this. Like, this blocks the pantry. I want to be clear. The pantry is a Murphy bed. It actually pulls down. It's not a spice cabinet, but this is what's protecting the spice cabinet right now. Make Mitchell ask about Michael Cox. I can do that. I give him a raise. In this epic post-game live stream, by writing your articles on the live stream, thinking out loud while you write has the potential to set a second standard. It's not a terrible idea. I probably won't do it this time, but Missouri's going to have another night game. We'll do it. That's actually a pretty decent idea. Just getting to think out loud on the live stream. I don't hate it. I kind of like that. All right. Are you saying this basketball class has the potential to be a foundation for Konzo Iscari? He's 3 years in. Foundation should already have been set. It's Raiders week. Go get some rest. What's rest, man? The bottom line is I'm going to be up at 6 a.m. anyway. Murphy beds are badass. Canoe Man, you're my new favorite, man. You're awesome. Todd Julian, welcome back, man. Much appreciated. Pocket Watch, thanks for being here, and we'll welcome me back next time. Todd Julian says, big win today. I feel like that's the best way to sum it up, right? Missouri won a football game today. Makes you guys happy, makes business better, so it makes me happy. Appreciate all you guys hanging out here with us. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I still got to write a little bit, so I'm going to go do that. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to make this a regular thing. Yes, this is where we end. Michael Cox, Brian Coulter. The longtime PMers get it. The short-time PMers will suddenly find out who Brian Coulter is because of Michael Cox. I feel like that's a hell of a legacy to leave. So thanks, guys, seriously, for joining us. This was started out as a terrible day on here. Ended up great. Much appreciated. Only works because of you guys. Hope you'll be back next week. Missouri and Arkansas are going to play at 11 a.m. next Saturday. We're going to start at 9:15. Mitchell and I do the 573 report Wednesday night. We'll be here. So always go check our stuff out on Power Mizzou, Boulevard Brewing Company, Colin Gentry Law Group, Burger Smokehouse, our sponsors throughout the day. It was great stuff. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys later on.